Well, it's a bit late because we just started the session. It's all right, though.
Really hope.
Yeah, it is.
I really hope that's the first word. So, yes!
Might be.
It's happening.
Okay.
But well, Twitch,
Rena,
I am getting tacos.
Well, Rena, you're only allowed to start eating them when it gets to your part where you're meeting with the necromancer. Just
Yeah,
so it's real
he's trying to be scholarly and informed, and she's just stuffing her face like a pig.
Oh no! You see, I'm not waiting with nachos. Nachos get soggy.
Nacho! I'm hurt. I'm fucking hurt. Daggers through the heart. Oh.
But can you feel your right arm?
Car, so no, a little tingly.
Anyway. Welcome to a fresh session of Rescue at Raxis. Last time the party did a little bit of socializing, a very, very small quantity of communication, then generally just split apart again. Malgurn is listening to a Catman wail. Cornelius about to step out in the town. Rain, pretty much the same, although the player's getting food. After I asked everyone if they're ready, which would indicate that there's no interruptions, they're ready to play. Almost like there'll be some sort of consequence for this.
When you were asking that question, I was answering the Taco Bell, and I'm still here.
Mm-hmm. As for Zarzul and Castalia, no idea. They could be doing anything. But they are currently at their home. Alongside Cornelius, I think Rain as well. Malgurn's the only one who's out.
Which is weird, because usually it's the other way around.
Yeah, Rain's getting ready to go out.
Which can't involve a whole lot, considering her dress just takes the shape she wants. Well, her leather armor does. So,
well, she still has to do her hair.
We have a mirror for that.
She doesn't have a reflection.
I was hoping nobody would remember the mirror.
Oh, look, it's vampires don't have reflections, but Rain, as an undead, does have a reflection.
Yeah, but I remember there being something weird.
It'd be nice if you muted while you're unwrapping shit.
Oh, sorry.
She's really sorry.
So let's reconvene with Castalia, Zarzul, and Cornelius.
So, is Cornelius looking slightly smarter than he was a second ago?
Nope, still 20 intelligence, the most a mortal man can get.
Okay.
Does he have a 20 intelligence?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
He all rolled pretty good.
Oh, this is also from leveled ups as well.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's how I got my 20 strength. Oh, wait, no, I rolled that with racial benefits. Ooh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, my lowest is still my strength at a basic 10. So 0 modifier.
Which puts you ahead of Zarzul.
No.
I mean, there's no surprise there.
No, Zarzul's a 10?
I'm pretty sure Zazzle's a 10.
Is Zarzul a 10? I think he's more of like a 6, you know.
He just has
put him next to a 4,
rolls.
he could probably bump himself up to an 8.
I don't know, you'd need to judge him by Cobalt standards, and who knows what those are.
Shall we bring up I'm good at those?
No, I'm good. I'm one day I'm gonna learn not to say that, but it is not this day.
It's just, you can have the best in the stat or the worst in the stat, and if the dice are with you, great. If they're not, hilarity.
One day Pufflesworth is going to run over your ass, and you're not going to be able to resist it.
The dice can be with you. This is a foreign concept to me. I'm sorry.
Let's just grab a few sheets.
Dice can indeed sometimes favor you.
Yeah. Have you seen my characters? Pretty much all of them. But yes.
In any case, so you're back from the Cobalt Cobalt house.
Yes. We must prepare. We need to go to the mines to save Zarzul.
Is this like a spiritual thing, or
No,
No,
Zazul is at the mines. We must go.
so another kobold by the name of Sarsul?
part of his clan.
Yes.
Ah,
Yes.
I can only imagine, but
So-
right now the kobold has pretty wide, glittery eyes, hopping from one foot to the other, a little bit unable to sit still.
Yeah. No. Zazul
Probably a little bit of
slightly,
dust on his nose.
so is Sarsul your clan name then?
No, get him as my clan name.
All right then. So it is another kobold by the name of Sarsul then. Okay.
Yes.
Confused Cornelius noises.
I was just trying to understand.
We must prepare. We need to go as soon as possible.
Well, oh. Well, just ignore the laughter from the thirsty gods. Well, hopefully we will soon be receiving some sort of payment from the rescue operation, and we should probably be able to soon leave, so we can stock up on whatever resources we'll need.
Yes.
In any case, I am getting ready to meet the other tiefling that I've gotten to know. I have a couple of questions for her. I do kind of wonder if she has any knowledge regarding to bodily attached curses or other magics. I know it's a bit of a long shot, but might well be.
Possible.
Are you okay, Sasul? Do you need to sit down for a bit? You're almost vibrating through the floor.
Yes. Zazul heads over to a chair, sits down, draws out the smoke pipe, and prepares to hopefully not vibe his way through the chair.
I mean, you do have that special supply from a necromancer, Dave.
No, maybe not tonight.
I feel like this is a good time for Rain to come downstairs.
This is a perfect time to try that. I mean, it might calm you down.
Okay.
Necromancers are known to be pretty chill. Just look at Rain.
I would even
She's
say
not a
they're
necromancer.
I'll say that's
we
the
know.
chill to the bone.
Sorry, necromancis.
Okay, I take a bit of the mellow pipeweed and try that.
The normal pipeweed, not the Davis supply?
Yeah, not not that one.
Yeah.
I'll save that for special occasions.
The rest of you get to enjoy the sort of sickly sweet cloud emanating from the kobold's corner.
So it smells like Jolly Ranchers. Oh god, he vapes.
No, it's not that sweet, but it is just... it's just sort of glary. It's not a crisp scent. For him, he's fine. For you guys, it's just...
Chris Scent, that's my cousin.
That's getting sort of stuck in your nose.
Zazul's going to climb over the bar and see if there was anything left to drink.
Oh no, you guys were cleared out completely.
No surprise there.
Do you not remember? That's when you decided, we'll try and run a par, and then you realized it might cost money and take time and effort, and I don't want to do any of those, especially spend money. And so it didn't
That's where
happen.
that died.
And then the wizard cleaned out those large portions to bail out his brother.
Well, to be fair, I think the biggest thing is we were like, shit, we have to deal with bureaucracy.
You're just a bunch of lazy fuckers, that's all. But now Rain makes her entrance. Looking like insert description here.
She be looking pretty bomb. But yeah, she would look pretty much standard, just slightly more done up, like she's going somewhere. And she would look at Zarzul and go, "What is wrong with him?"
I mean, you can't even make eye contact. The cloud's getting a bit thick.
I think before you said the cloud, I was like, yeah, his eyes are probably tweaking, but
There's that horrible
But I have a
moment where
feeling he's not
somehow
lying.
one pupil goes to the other eye.
yeah.
Well, apparently, from what I've gathered, one of his clan members are in the area. So he's a bit worried
Okay.
about that.
Why is he worried about that?
No, not worried. Worked up.
Oh, worked up. Oh, okay. Why?
He's at the diamond mine where the orcs are.
Oh, so you want to save him?
Yes, must save Zarzul.
I look at Cornelius.
He looks at you.
One of his
Apparently
clan.
he's also called Zarzul.
Oh, okay. She just kind of shakes her head.
People care so little about the kobold. Should we ask about
Well, no,
this?
we've
Should we
all
find out
agreed.
his personal feelings? Nah, he's just
Yeah.
tweaking.
Well, I mean, to be
I'm-
fair, he's clearly upset. So, I mean, we figured that part out.
It
So,
could
like,
be the
okay, we'll
drugs,
go
it
help
could be the
him.
drugs.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's not usually tweaked out on drugs. He's usually mellow.
It'd be like if a family member you knew and actually cared for was in danger.
Are you able to imagine this, Rain?
Yes.
Rena, yes. Rain, maybe.
Yes.
In any case, are you going somewhere?
Oh, yes. Actually, as a matter of fact, I had a meeting today. I was going to go meet
Oh.
up with John, have a discussion.
Oh.
Well, considering I had
careful
to miss
now.
that. Oh, I know, I will. After all, I had to miss the thing that we had arranged. So I wanted to hear up on that, how that went.
Hmm.
You could always take a +1.
I mean, I'm with her
Cornelius
plus
is
one
busy.
right now.
I mean, there's 3 other members of the party.
It would not cross her mind to take a +1.
Yes, I've noticed that.
well, it only because Cornelius is not available.
Yeah, Cornelius would be the obvious +1.
Yes, he's the only magic caster in the group.
No, but for some strange reason, she doesn't think of Castalia.
Or Zarzul.
I was gonna say, or the tweaking kobold. Yeah,
Yeah, but he's more of a cleric, so it's different.
yeah, he's a pretty good cleric.
Yeah.
Unlike someone I know.
I've only gotten to use Harden twice.
Fuck
You'll
off.
see.
And to be fair, it's also with Castalia, it's more the I got gifted these magical abilities, not it's something I studied and understand fully.
Exactly.
Oh, it's not a
different kind of
gifting.
magic.
It's a we hashed out a fucking agreement.
Yeah.
yeah.
Sign on the dotted line for infinite cosmic power.
Yeah.
And itty bitty
And
spell
itty-bitty
slots.
spells. Yeah.
You will go through life as a double barrel shotgun of casters.
It's all right.
Yeah. it's
What a
pretty good.
shotgun it is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's a Doom Eternal double barrel shotgun.
You only get 2 bullets, so make them count.
Don't take Witch Bolt. It's a fucking trap.
But you get Eldritch Blast, so it's worth it, you know.
So the 2 of you just head out.
Well, I've got to just gotta say goodbye to Droop and tell him not to necessarily wait up for me.
Does
Yeah,
Cornelius
otherwise,
really
well,
know why he's saying that?
He's seen other people do it.
Well, mostly so that to let the Droop know that he doesn't have to be ready to make sure that the bed is tied up and such. Because Cornelius does not know when it is he's heading home.
And
He's
as-
basically saying it the same way you're telling your butler not to expect home.
Yeah. It's entirely a case of I
Well,
might stay
everybody
out
knows
drinking
the
all
Chinese
night. I'm not
interval.
sure.
Yeah.
You may have some time off to enjoy yourselves and whatever vulgarities the poor do.
Yes. Basically.
Don't touch my things.
I wouldn't even need to say that to Droop. He knows.
He sounds so sure of that, too. But yes, as the two of you head out, going to your various defined eateries, it's pretty obvious. Cornelius, you're going to a nicer part of town than Rain is. As you split away and you recognize the streets, yeah, you're going up market. She is not. She's going for a place that's discreet.
Was it where we
Well,
went
he's
last
been
time?
there.
Yeah,
Okay.
but it's just nice to know, isn't it?
Yes.
People go there for the silent booths. They don't go there for the food or the wine. And indeed, Rain, it is precisely the same location. It is also filled with exactly the same class of sleaze, creeper, and weird people in hoods that do not want their faces memorized. Although there is quite a bigger variety of them, and you wonder why do some try for anonymity? Because one of them's a fucking Loxodon. Can't hide that. He's got a hood on, but his trunk's still hanging out.
Well,
Maybe he's
he's
trying
at
to
least,
hide himself from
having, like,
other
talking about
Loxodons.
Well, you have to. They never forget a face. Meanwhile, Cornelius, you enter, and it is a lavish little place. It's not a rich place. It's not an establishment you're used to in Waterdeep, but it is upper middle. It is refined. This is a place where you at least should book. Not required, but you should have a booking. A little bit of light music playing. And in the distance, you can see here, near the back of the place, Patience, looking a little sharper. Still got her fur trimmed dress. Doesn't have any of the accoutrements when you saw her on the ship. And
Yeah,
she's just
because she's
eyeing
not-
the menu.
Alright. I've just got to start walking towards there.
You are stopped by the maitre d'. Yes,
Ah, yes. Good evening. I am to meet the lady in the back there. By the name
yes,
of
let me
Patience?
see here.
I'm should be on the name of Cornelius Sent.
Yes, I'm sure you should be. Yes, here we go. Cornelius sent. Very well. Enjoy your evening, sir.
Thank you. And I tip him 2 gold.
His hand was exactly where you expected it to be for those coins, yes.
Yep.
The horns perk up a little bit. She watches you approach.
Yeah, as I walk up and good evening, Patience.
Have you ever thought of teaching?
Well, you could say that I'm practicing it right now.
Yes, yes. Sit down, sit down. It's just... This place does not have what we need. It doesn't have a college of learning. It doesn't have a place for the gifted.
I have heard so, yes.
And we could easily solve that.
All right. Well, let me just take a look at the menu and then we can discuss more thoroughly, shall we? I am very curious about what they have to offer here.
Oh, it's the usual pat they serve in most places, but we could have an institute.
Yes, but do trust me, it has been a while.
Do you really want to admit that to a girl on the first date?
When it comes to this kind of food, yes.
It's all right. I've got this all paid for. Feel free. Except the wine. Not paying for that kind of taste.
Well, don't worry. I'll be able to handle that myself.
And then we jump at Terrain and John.
How magical.
He's sitting there with his sketchbook. Hello, good Lady
She goes
Rain.
Ah, hello. How have you been?
Oh, well, yes, I mean, it's been fascinating. You missed an amazing display of work. It was artistry with a scalpel. It was joyous. I only wish it had been a bit more discreet. I only wish it had been a bit more private. So that a little more could be done. As it was more sort of a show and tell. But just wonderful, the depth of it. Oh, I made sure to draw what I could, so as he shifts through a few pages, although he does tilt his book up so you can't see the pages before sifting through them. Yes, there we go. And it is a little, charcoal sketch, but it is pretty precise on the bits and pieces.
She looks like a kid in a candy store, and she is very into that. She's looking through everything that he's showing.
Just for a little picture-in-picture moment, we cut to Horizon West, lamenting, sobbing into his drink with Malgur not looking like he has any emotion whatsoever.
He's kind of just staring at him, not sure how to handle this.
And then we close that picture and go back to Rain and John.
She is distracting herself because she's not very much pleased about that situation.
Malgurin looking at him, is he gonna drink that? Can I take that?
And for added fun, we open another picture-in-picture as Rain is reciting off to herself all the different organs and parts. It's syncing up to Cornelius looking down the menu.
Excellent. Excellent.
Ah, yes, the liver.
Yeah, I like liver.
And onions.
Yes.
Yes, there's an assortment of steaks as well. Quite a lot of seafood, too.
I imagine it's probably been a while since Cornelius had seafood, so I think that's probably what he'll be getting.
And she's been inland for quite a while.
Where are they getting the seafood?
Look to the south of the city.
It's also on the map. You can see what they have. An inland road to the ocean.
Yeah, I was about to say, it probably came up from the ocean via the river.
Yeah. It's been well established that that's an inland route that connects way up north to another kingdom called Catalai. And they're connected to the Greater Sea. And along with the Icewind Dales. So yeah, they get a fair harvest. You can even have seal. And whatever dire seals are. I assume seals with weird chitinous spines.
They're like regular seals, only dire.
Mm-hmm.
Well, dire tends to imply they're bigger and stronger.
Yeah, it's just in a few of the games that they decided that dire should also mean they've got a weird, monstrous, like, spine mound of armor.
Yeah.
Well, here you go. You can think of a walrus as a dire seal.
But then what about a dire walrus?
It's a really big walrus.
They don't know what a walrus is. They just call them dire seals, that's all.
Or in Zarzul's case, that's some manner of land beast.
Yeah, it's obviously somebody who misrolled their nature check. It's like...
Speaking of, roll me
is it a
nature.
seal or...
It's a dire
that's
seal.
How you get dire seals.
Yeah. It's a dire seal or some sort of toothed fish.
A dive walrus would just have tusks that both goes up and down.
But yes, back to Rain and John. He's sitting back, sipping on his wine. You're looking through his various notes. It was fascinating. Everything was divulged from the corpse. Everything. By the end of it, there was just no structure left with it, and everything was displayed on opposite tables to it in the same sort of arrangement. Most of the time I managed to get to the front of a crowd, but it was a hustle and bustle. It was a real elbow jab situation, but man, glorious it was. I haven't felt like that for a year or two.
I honestly wish I could have attended, but
You missed
know
a
how-
stonker of an evening. I hope it was
to be
worthwhile.
entirely fair. Oh yes, we did. We saved who we set out to save. We found some very intriguing incidents along the way.
Well, now you know I have to ask
regular
about
stuff.
those.
Something about a dragon cult. We haven't much figured out too much, but
Oh yeah, also, I don't know if you remember this part, there was also the shaman orc that was undead.
yeah, the undead
Sort of.
shaman orc, and then we also had the very lovely individuals that had the tattoos that made them the magic lightning rod, effectively.
And Karina Castmore, Queen of the Undead.
No, she would bring up the tattooed
Queen of the
individual that was being used as a lightning rod.
There was also your trip into the Shadowfell,
Oh, she's not bringing that up.
with the gem-encrusted
She's leaving
skeleton
that well alone.
filled with ingots that you've started to pry apart.
Yeah,
You spent
she is
an
leaving
evening
that the
pulling
fuck
apart
alone.
all the little slivers of precious metals in this corpse.
Well, to be fair, Rain didn't. She only specified that we should get the diamonds out.
Hmm.
I don't know if that. Mm,
There's no good. So, what are you mentioning to him specifically?
Yeah, she would cover basics of the dragon cult, because after all, she doesn't actually know all the ins and outs of that. She wasn't there for that discussion. And then she would cover the lightning rod incident, and then yeah, the undead shaman.
Just a waxy kind of inner structure, no organs, really.
It was interesting.
Yes, yes. And I heard a little bit about the lightning rods for spells and magical effects. As you imagine, a few people have been whispering about such a thing.
Oh yes.
It's
And I can
interesting,
tell you, I did
although
not very
very
much appreciate it.
crude. I did have a few...
It made the.
Hmm?
Oh, go on.
No, by all means. Please divulge.
Well, I do have to say it made it an absolute pain in order to continue on with that. Because imagine trying to do all that without actually casting any serious spells,
Oh, yes.
even healing spells.
Yes, being quite hamstrung. Did you perhaps... I haven't been able to see them firsthand, but I've heard symbols?
I know some of them. I didn't manage to put all of them down on paper. I could probably sketch out a rough idea of what they were.
Catches it with one fingernail and just turns his book to a completely blank page.
And she would oblige and sketch some of the bits out that she remembers.
Knowing that Cornelius has a full rub out of them.
I thought he had the full rub out of the
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure he also
the
took note
dragon
of the different rune shapes on the people. Like, he obviously didn't do a
Yeah,
rubbing
she
on
didn't-
them because they're a person in agony.
In that case, then she would mention that Cornelius had better notes on that.
Well, probably best if you ask for them rather than me.
Yes, for some strange reason, I don't think he'd be too inclined to share.
Well, I mean, we hit it off quite a bit, but I'm not very convenient for him, so I doubt he'd be that inclined at this point. If I was more of an asset, I suppose then I'd have freer access, but you know how wizards are.
Only a little bit.
Yes, very protective, very secretive. Like to make use of people. I've dealt with quite a
Yeah,
number.
that sounds about right.
I think it's from their classing and upbringing, really. It seems to be bred into them.
True. Particularly in his case, I mean, being full noble born and all that tends to be how that works.
Yes,
He's actually not that bad of a sort.
Oh no, I know that. I mean, he's very intelligent and well learned. It's just, well, you can never quite take the highborn out of him, and I didn't have the benefit of a silver spoon or a silver wand.
Quite.
And once
And to be fair,
you're no longer entirely useful to them or a little bit of an embarrassment, they just tend to drop you quite quickly.
because you're replaceable. Everybody's replaceable.
They
to them.
believe that. I assure you, I am not replaceable. No, that's the point of being a
Well,
learned
that's-
man. You become irreplaceable as a font of knowledge. Let's see here now. Very old, very crude. I suspected as much, although... I'd be inclined to say Feyen, but I wouldn't know what era. It's certainly the kind of place where they would experiment to this degree with magics. But then how does it wind up in the hands of an orc shaman, or shaman?
Well, something that's been on my mind quite severely is we know pretty much all of the magic users from this area just up and vanished about the same time. And I'm wondering if they vanished to somewhere in particular, and if this is somehow related.
Well, it's hard to get a hold of history that just hasn't been swept clean. I found a few conflicting morsels and scraps, but they differ in context. There's chased out, there is dissolved, there is simply, they move to greener pastures. The usual thing, especially that I've come up a few times, is just the inner turmoil between individuals who are just too powerful. They can't cohabitate. But
Whatever transpired had to have been serious.
Well, yes.
And if I'm not mistaken, didn't they all disappear during a war with their northern neighbors?
That is the one continual element, yes. Although it sometimes gets a bit mingled. A few scraps I found related to the later war. But most of it seems to take place, yes, during the one with, what is the place called now? I haven't really been able to find good translations, or, very much it is our northern neighbour in terms to that regard.
Well, I think we found out that they just don't like keeping history unless it's pure, unadulterated, basic facts or their own version of propaganda, which, well, it's both normal and you see that almost everywhere. You tend to be able to find the counter current in most places along the Sword Coast.
Oh, we know where it is. You and I, we both know.
Oh, yeah.
But that's the problem. And it's the same issue on the coast and other places. Intriguing history is often kept in private hands. Or by those who think they can hear voices from beyond. Or at least determine what it means. For being men of faith, they are very protective over things that just say simple facts.
Usually, because unfortunately, sometimes the facts do not paint what they want it to paint.
Yes, well, it's all a bit of a bugger.
That's why I always wanted to retire and work in the library. At least then I'll have access to it all. But then I'm the one that has to tell other folks that they can't access it.
Exactly. That's no good at all. No good. I've often dallied and thought about what I'll be doing in my later years. Library, not quite what I want to go for. Not as simple as that. Apprenticeship, I think, will have to be the path. And to not put too fine a point on it, if I have a singular location with the knowledge I have, it'll probably get burnt down at some point.
Yes, I could see that.
And I don't mean to be rude, but some of them will be wearing symbols like yours.
Oh, that's not no insult received.
So I'm quite glad you're more open-minded than the majority of ones I've come across. Even if one of our first meetings involved your trained attack dwarf.
Oh, don't let him hear you say that.
I must say, that was a fearful encounter. I'm surprised you can put clothes on such a thing. Do you just keep it in a box in your yard?
No, I don't know what's going on with him. He'd been slightly more sensible, and lately he's gone completely off the rails. As a matter of fact, he just got himself chucked out of the arena.
Oh, yes,
it was
I heard.
Actually, I don't know if... Oh, yeah. And I think the sad part is he didn't even actually hurt me. That's how badly he was doing. It was just more like he just kind of like poked me a couple of times and then he got chucked out.
Well, suppose you just need to cut down on the tree.
Kill a dude.
Yeah.
He killed a dude and then I fixed it. But the problem is I was the one he was starting it with and he never really touched me. He did like 6 damage.
Yes, I've heard that there. It'll be a bit of a tarnish on the relationship.
No, it's about standard. Unfortunately, we've never gotten by. I don't think he likes and she kind of taps the pointy ears.
Well, it's ingrained in them. I mean, they're molded in 4s. That means they're pretty much set.
Well, I don't know because he doesn't dislike Droop. He used to dislike Droop.
Nearly
he
tried
doesn't dislike Droop now.
Nearly tried to torture him to death. Yes.
And she wasn't there for that part.
For no reason other than he was bored.
I think our dwarf is just annoyed that they've found a new paladin.
Oh, yes, the large one. The type that have that kind of drive, they can make a man nervous.
Oh, I understand the feeling.
You'll see he'll get so swept up in the do-gooding that things of use will get smashed aside just to prove his cause. I'm not saying it's intentional, but they tend to lose track of what's important, really, and that's learning.
I don't know. This one actually tends to take things a bit slow sometimes. He's a lot more methodical.
Most of them I've met, there's too much divine light going through one ear and out the other, with no impedance.
That is perfectly fair. After all, what is it? I think the more physically minded tend to go to the paladin side, and the more learned side tends to stick to the and she just kind of gestures.
Yes, but those type, channeling their divine gifts just to destroy and smite and sunder. They'll look at a book full of useful knowledge that could be applied in many ways and simply burn it because it's tainted. Or because it might hold temptation and secrets to them, being so insecure in their goodliness. It's frustrating.
I've always kind of felt, yes, it's anything can be taken, looked over, and used.
Exactly.
Question is how to appropriately use.
Or in some cases, just to have the study of it. To be applied somewhere else. It doesn't have to be the actual thing used, but it could be used as a reference for another issue.
Exactly. It's a starting point. You might not have the exact answer you need, but you might have something similar enough to use as a starting point. And
And
if
I
you destroy
mean,
absolutely everything,
and I'll be the first to admit that some knowledge can be evil, but it can be applied in useful ways.
correct. It all else fails, it can at least be used sometimes to help reverse engineer and potentially backtrack.
There are some things that
Sometimes.
cannot be learned, not by a cleric.
But by a
That's why she's a
wizard.
wizard. You forget she is both.
We forget she's both. We know she's a wizard.
Hey, she revived Cornelius and she saved that guy Malgern murdered.
It was manslaughter at best.
I think it would be third degree murder.
I don't know, it definitely wasn't premeditated.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's why it'd be third. Third and second both aren't premeditated. First is. Don't ask me why I know all this.
But then we jump
I know what you
from
know
Rain
this.
and John clicking perfectly. We go back to Cornelius and Patience. And then we leave them to go to Castellian Zarzul. Then we jump once more to Malgern and Horizon West. He's still kind of down. This fancy cat man has no spring to him.
How long have they been drinking at this point?
Well, I mean, Horizon has just been going for one drink.
Oh no.
But it's been
Wow,
about an
that's
hour.
That's sad.
Well, it's also kind of worrying, because now and again he laps at it instead of drinking it.
Malgern's not sure what to do. Just kind of staring at it, going, "Oh, God."
Can I order a drink on his tab?
Is he gonna finish that?
Like, do I wait between
Wait.
sobs to order a new drink? Or do I just mime?
So is Malgern actually trying to be nice for a change?
He's trying to figure out what. This is a new situation for him. He's stumped.
It's a new
Absolutely
situation
stumped.
because it's someone proclaiming they're inadequate in front of Malgern and saying that Malgern is better than them. This is new.
He's used to people being physically vulnerable, not emotionally vulnerable.
Yeah, exactly. Like, this is not my, not his realm here. You know.
How do you tell someone who is crying to rub some dirt in it because there's no wound? You can't rub dirt into emotional wounds.
I mean, see, and that's what's really confusing is Malgern's like, "Oh, just drink some more; it'll make you feel better." But he's already got
But he's
a
not
drink.
drinking.
Like, we've already covered this. He's not drinking. Like, he's got a drink. I've tried nothing, and we're all out of ideas.
I've tried the dwarven method. I don't know the others.
Yeah.
What do humans do to make themselves feel better? What about cats? Well, they lick themselves. I can't do that in this bar. As Malgern just edges his empty mug onto the end of the table and just gesturing at it. Yeah? Yeah? You wanna knock it over?
Yeah. Then when he doesn't, he kind of tries to be quiet. He's like trying to motion to the barkeep. Could you liquid, my friend? Thank you.
Just
I don't know if I should feel bad for Malgern.
You're taking off one of your socks slowly and bundling it up and rolling it on the table with a finger.
As the player of Malgern, no, you shouldn't feel sorry for Malgern.
Definitely not.
I don't know. I
I'll
feel
be the
sorry.
first
I
person
feel
to tell
sorry
you
for
that.
that level of incompetence.
But he's kind of going on a bit of a whining, circuitous bit of just. He questions his ability. He doesn't feel like he could ever match up to this kind of danger and threat. He never says he's scared of it. But he just feels like he would never be able to walk in the same kind of path as Malgern. He doesn't have the confidence and the skill in
Malgern
combat.
hears this, he kind of cringes a little bit, like, oh.
Oh, you are misreading me entirely, my friend.
But again, tread softly. We can't just say it. We can't just say it.
Yeah, you couldn't. You can't just say to him, "There's other fish in the sea."
I mean, I could.
Maybe you should try a pond. Yeah. Like a duck pond. That'll probably do enough for you. Don't look at the sea. The sea's dangerous.
You want another feather? Let's go get you another feather.
Let's go attack some pigeons.
I'm gonna get you a bunny and break his leg so you can chase him.
Oh, God.
Well, I'm just thinking, my cats love feathers, and he's got a feathered hat. You want to get some more feathers for that hat, buddy? Come on, let's go get you some more feathers. Yeah.
The feathers are a lie.
You can take that drink with you, guy. Come on.
Where I come from, they show status, they show daring do's, and look, they are wonderful, but I have done nothing to earn that sort of thing. Not in the scale of your life.
Again, slightly puzzled by the choice of words there.
I have fought for honor, for love, and none of that matters compared to just achieving such things that you do. Heroism. I am no hero, I am just a braggart and an egotist.
Oh, fuck.
Roll a d20.
God damn it.
There's a familiar face in the crowd watching the show.
Oh, no.
They've got a bright red nose.
Oh, no.
You're not sure if it's Yeoman or Yenig. One of those two.
Oh,
You can see that he's really cheering on in the Malgern fight scenes.
Shit. You want to go get some fresh air, buddy? I think we could both do with some fresh air. It's a little stuffy in here. You want to go outside for a little bit?
Yeah, all right. Yeah, I'll bring my wine, though. Which is like 3/4 still full.
Yeah. Take that with you. Pat him on the back. Yeah, you can take that with you. It's fine.
As you get to the door, though, he starts to peel away and go, I should sit down. As he walks back into the theater.
I walk back in after him.
No, you're right. I need fresh air. And he starts to walk back to the exit. He just stands there, though, on the threshold.
Kind of put my arm around him and kind of start walking, hoping I can nudge him through the doorway.
He's a little resistant.
He doesn't need to be that much of a fucking cat, Jesus Christ.
I wasn't going to say it, but yeah, I was like, God damn it. Cat.
It's more the fact that he's a depressed drunk right now. On a quarter of wine. He's being awkward anyway.
Yeah, that's... Is it impossible?
Yeah. He's got no fat to soak it up. He's a stringy fucker. Goes right to the bloodstream.
Like. Can I get him?
What the fuck are you doing?
I was trying to get the cat to come over here. The
Oh, okay.
out of game cat.
But yeah, eventually you're able to goad him outside. Although
Is he looking any better?
you do lose a couple of coins because you had to pay for the glass.
That's fine. Not a problem. Cornelius has more.
As he just throws his hat on, and it doesn't sit at a jaunty angle now. It's just flat on his head.
Oh god, the hat's even sad. Oh no. I didn't know it was possible.
How do you know when you want to? How did you know you were capable of such things? That you were able to go out, sally forth, and take them on. Take on the world, my friend. But you knew you were good enough.
Don't tell him his father kicked you out. Don't tell him father kicked you out. Don't tell him father kicked you out.
I feel like there's an
job
over.
and a haircut, you hippie.
You just, it was weird. I just went one day. I just went. It was nothing at all.
Don't say your father kicked you out and kicked your ass. Don't say your father kicked you out and kicked your ass.
Yeah, pretty much agreeing with you. He doesn't know. He doesn't know. He doesn't know. It's fine. He doesn't know. He wasn't there.
It's just all so different. The professional duels, it is display and showing. I am able to outdance them, outstrike them. I have such skill and style. It means nothing in war. And that is what my lady goes into. She goes into war.
Searching for words. Searching for words. Yeah, kind of.
We'll jump to Castalia and Zarzul now. How's it going?
We're likely preparing to go out and help Zarzul.
Going through
But
supplies.
which one?
We're going to help Zarzul to help Zarzul.
The first step, of course, is helping Zarzul.
Yes. We have to help Zarzul so we can help Zarzul help Zarzul. Makes perfect sense.
Yep.
Congrats just
Zazzle
nods a
was
little
making
bit.
A list up of food supplies required for the trip, working out how long it's going to take to get there and back.
Mm-hmm.
Whether we'll drag anybody else along just so they can prove themselves as a fighter.
There is a frenzied, rapid little knock at the door.
Wonder who that is. And I go to answer the door.
There is a singular kobold in a trench coat, sized for a kobold.
Okay.
Oh, hello. Are you here for Zarzul?
Is it Renenbach?
3 wives! We have opted to 3 wives! He splats on in, big wet feet, bit of rain pouring. You look outside and it's a sunny day. Well, it's evening. You are going on the job, yes?
Yes, we will be going off to the mine as soon as I'm able to get us moving.
Yes, I have been told about the reward you'll be getting. 3 wives. You can share them out.
Oh, no.
Do you need wife? As he looks up at Castalia.
No, I don't need a wife, thank you.
He quickly scampers over to Congrats. You could do a wife. Imagine she very small dragonborn.
Oh dear.
Nah. No thanks, no. Zarzul, little bro.
Yeah.
He scrabbles over to you now, displacing the cloud with the speed of his approach. I've given permission to haggle. What do you want?
I don't need the wives. Just some gold would be okay. we'll be going there. I must do my duty for Kobold Kind.
Oh, it's duty! Alright then, you don't need wives. That's good.
Uh, I may not need compensation, but my fellow party members will probably need something. So gold is probably the easiest.
Do you not want to also do it for Kobold Pride? As he turns to Castalia and Congrats. Our people will be very thankful.
Well, I'm doing it to help Zarzul, and if he's your pride, then certainly.
His face is lighting up. This is sounding like a free ride.
Rain needs money.
Rain's not there.
Also remember, this is Sasul negotiating money.
Money, money.
No, we will need some gold to cover supplies, and also we may be hiring some mercenaries as well to help.
Oh, outside help. No. Mm-mm. No, I've been told it's just you must keep quiet. Yes, hush.
Okay. But yes, we will be needing some gold to cover supplies.
He sets down a purse of gold. A small little leather bag. Done. So good? Yes?
I'm sure some of the other party members will be requiring some compensation.
I'll pick up the bag and count the gold.
As you're picking it up, there's a single little claw hooking on it and trying to pull it back down. Maybe I picked the wrong one. I have to check. You're pretty sure you saw silver in there.
I let him take it. I think you did.
Yes, it's a mistake everyone makes. All the time. It's amazing people ever get the right one. You see, no labels on these. They are very different looking bags. Completely different shades of leather. He sets down one that is smaller, but you're pretty sure has gold in it.
Then I'll pick that one up and count.
He starts to stretch out a finger to hook on it, but he relents and it just creeps back. It looks to have about 50 gold in it. One of them is a little chewed. Two of them are bent at a perfect right angle. It's impressive.
People get bored occasionally.
As you sift through as well, you find one of them has Lazul emblazoned on it. Looks very dapper. You sift a little further, you find another one with his hat in relief. So you're able to stack them on top of each other to get the full impression. Collectible. More value than normal coin. Deal, yes?
Do you think?
You like the gold?
Oh, I can't think of anyone who doesn't like gold.
Excellent. Deal is made. Bye. He starts to scrabble out. But it's more like that sort of, kind of like a Jesus lizard walk where his leg is rotating the full 360 degrees on the side.
I catch him by the collar and lift him up so it does that, and he's running in air.
Don't hurt me! Don't eat me! Don't kill me! Oh, hi. He's now looking at you, just pointing his face up, eyes at the top of his head. Problem?
Just one moment. Zarzul, congrats. Do you think this job is worth 50 gold?
I think it's probably going to be worth a bit more than that.
Congrats shifts a little bit. There's a lot of heavy clanking on his plate mail. He picks from his belt a very small little coin purse and just puts one finger in it, seems to be the entire diameter. And then puts it back and just sort of scratches his snout. it's all for a good cause is the main thing, you know?
I know, that's the main debate I'm having.
Can't really, you know, just be materialistic about this. You're also thinking back to when you saw him sifting through and sorting through copper coins and silver to pay for a last scrap of food. You're pretty sure your boy's broke.
We're going to need a bit more gold than this.
His hand rockets straight up with one more coin in it.
No, not one more. A bit
Slowly
more.
starts to retract as you start to speak. Mar. How many?
Hmm.
You could ask what they. You could ask what are they about to lose on the mine being closed.
You're not there.
I know.
This is all down to Pio and Webgun trying to work out.
Yep, the kobold and the lawful good.
Congrats. Can't really go for leasing them for more money.
I'm guessing he wasn't the one who negotiated in his old party.
Nope. He hasn't had any money since the drinking contest as well. Like, he didn't ask for payment and all when shacking over with Castalia and going on quests.
Hmm. That seems a bit too much. That seems a bit too little.
How can I be too much when I'm too little?
No, I'm just...
Can you put me down, please?
Certainly.
Or lift me higher?
And I do it so. I place him down on the ground. How about 375?
3 gold, 75 silver. Deal.
No, 375 gold.
That is a couple of paychecks and food as well. The tongue slides out to start cleaning one of the eyeballs. 375? 350. And you see him stretching his neck back and sort of rearing back a little bit. Like he's very wary about saying this.
350 is good.
Okay. And he instantly relaxes. Big gangly clawed hand. Shake.
I take the hand and give a shake.
The deal has been severed. Anyway, he shakes. Okay, 350. Good.
Yes.
We can make that happen. Yes.
Good.
Thank you.
Are you smoking all of that?
I break off a piece of the brick and hand it to him.
5 minutes.
Sazzle.
As he walks over to join you. You wonder now if he'll remember. As they both go to Marijuanaville.
Going to Funky Town.
And we jump back to Cornelius and Patience. Dinner is quite pleasing. It's even arranged in a nice way. There's a little bit of dressing. The first bite is with the eye in this place.
So where exactly did the idea of teaching come from?
It's been in the head for years. The thing is, though, I required a little more influence and a bit more status than was offered by Dearest Family and my own fall from grace, because I'd like to take up nature magic. However, I have seen that you've pulled off quite a little stunt. Both on the ship and now with the return of a daughter, so I think that would be a perfect time for a pair of us arcane experts to leverage that to get a little business established, a nice little institution of learning.
But where exactly? How much do you have in the experience of teaching as such
Well, I had to teach myself most
yourself?
of it.
Speaking of that, where exactly was it that you were taught as I pulled down the shirt? This.
You didn't get in enough trouble to use it. You took care of yourself very nicely. As Cornelius does not admit, I forgot it was there.
Well, we did happen upon, I wouldn't say similar, but I figured it was probably around the same area. We found people who were, I'm not sure cursed would be the correct way, but infused with magical carvings upon their flesh to work as a sort of a totem.
Mr. Scent. And she fixes you now with those gold eyes. The head's turned down a little bit. Are you implying that my protective charm on you is equating to a curse of flesh-bound magic in a person?
No, but I was wondering if you had any idea if it had something of a similar quality. There's something in between that.
A foot moves underneath the table. It might have caused a jolt in his words. No, nothing like that. No.
No, not what I'm guessing he's knocked at
No, she didn't kick him or
his feet
anything.
or something. Okay.
No,
Just to
it
say
was
jump
much
in
more
his
in the
word.
distraction method. No, nothing like that. No. No, I am just applying what we do when we scroll into our spell books. It just shows a different, healthier lever. It's not that difficult. It's one of those many things I could teach you.
Well, I was wondering if you just had any idea if there was any correlation between the two upon applying magic in that way.
I'd
Not
need
applying
to.
that.
I'd need to examine it myself. Think about this. Right now, this city, this kingdom is swarming with mercenaries. Some of them also gifted with book and scroll, and not all of them really want that kind of lifestyle, that transitory nature. Some of them want to establish themselves. It wouldn't be hard to arrange a faculty.
Yes, but so let me ask you this: since you have noticed yourself that there isn't a magical college here, do you have any clues as to why there isn't?
She
Because I
sits
have
back a
been
bit in the
trying-
chair, playing with a crab claw, tapping on her chin. I've heard a few stories. Magic is in the family line, although it jumped a few. Parents, no good, although I have an aunt who is quite skilled. Apparently she helped out with Cobalt House itself. I don't know if that helped or damaged our reputation, but they're lovely little fellows. Before chucking out time.
Before chucking out who?
From the bars, Mr. Scent.
From
From what I've heard a few things, mostly just after a few wars they decided to scale back. They preferred to have, far more easily reined in knights. Because they always have a tendency to fear power. Particularly when it can be drawn in such large amounts. I mean, a cabal of wizards can be terrifying to those who are uneducated and fearful. The things we can achieve in small numbers.
Hmm.
I suppose that's why they put me onto Adagoon. After all,
Yes.
druids are overbearing with responsibility.
Hmm.
Suffocating almost. But the freedom to experiment, to craft and learn, it's so much more appealing. But no,
Speaking of that,
Hmm?
now speaking of that, do you have you ever been to have you ever been to the large mountain?
Which one? There's Mountain Raxis right to the north
direction
of the
was it that
castle
we were
upon
coming
it.
from?
Hmm?
Which one was it that we were near?
Kind of both.
The one we tried to scale up.
Uh, what?
The one we were trying to scale up when we were chasing down the necromancer.
Oh, right, yeah. That's the one that the castle's on.
Okay.
No,
Have you ever seen the?
I've never had the luxury of going up to the castle itself, nor of the environ itself. Adagun himself never goes there.
Yes, when we arrived here, I think we believe that one of the reasons for what might have been why, I should say, the nobility started to fear the wizard college.
Oh? It's a bit of a smile on her. She leans on the table.
Well,
The foot gets a
there are
little bit more
hands.
distracting.
Is he tapping her foot?
No, it's more a lot of sort of ankle stroking. But considering he wears a boot, it's not that effective.
Yeah.
Patients tried stroking. It's not very effective.
Yeah.
Well, we did. From what we can kind of figure out, that mountain wasn't always there.
Didn't know. Hmm.
It was by pure, you could say, by pure happenstance. I kind of lowered the voice a little bit just to make sure that people around aren't as such hearing because that's what we figured out. Not all information is pertinent to be shared around. So there were bony hands sticking out of the mountain.
You see a bit more gold flashing. How so? Necromancy?
Hard to say. That is one of the things. If I assume that you probably have been walled off of finding information in this city as well about anything that ever happened other than statistics and numbers.
Well, I have to be a little bit honest. I didn't ask too much about this kingdom's history. It's all a bit dull, really. It's all just pomposity with the knights and swords and horses.
Exactly.
They don't have anything
Recently,
intriguing here like Pallister and Waterdeep. Now that is a fascinating tale.
Hmm. Oh, trust me, from what we have, when you start digging through the dirt a bit here, there are several things that start bringing more questions, but might also be bringing up some answers as to why suddenly they're not fond of wizards. Though the question, of course, is right now whether the nobility themselves even remember.
There are a few of the families that are elven-blooded. They probably have some who might know. But of course, it's rubbing elbows with them. Luckily, you
Well,
saving the boarhen's daughter. Now that's going to get you in there.
well, hopefully so. And hopefully might also be able to figure out a little bit more.
How noble of you.
Oh, speaking of, next time you borrow my table, please leave the feathers in the correct order.
There is a properly, quite literally, devilish smile on her face. It's a lovely desk, though. It's so good.
Oh, I know, isn't it?
The conversation now is all about the desk features. She's talking about how she's had to make do with bits of fucking tree. She's tried to get a proper one crafted, but they've never been able to get the angle right, the proper feel of it, and just the delight of the arrangement, where everything is in its right place. If I'd known about that desk, I would have put you in the bed sooner.
I'm sorry.
Well, I am a little bit as well.
Cornelius just keeping getting more confused.
Character class. The Virgin. He's not the Chad Wizard yet, but summons shotguns.
But he now has enough coin to buy the big bed he liked.
He doesn't know. He doesn't have a purpose for it though, apart from his own need.
Yeah, I'm not even sure it could fit in the room he has.
It could, but you'd have no walking room.
Yeah, that's basically it. Like that is just impractical. Basically, if you have to clamber on board of it, if you can't walk to the side.
But you know, if you paid your landlord a bit, you could probably knock that wall through, move Castalia somewhere else, and now you'd have a proper room.
In any case, what's that? With all business and discussion aside, what is actually for dessert here? So start looking at the other part of the menu.
Well, that depends. You can have something served here, at mine, or at yours. I just imagine Cornelius not even notices he's looking down the menu and thinking, this looks nice for sorbet.
Yeah.
Whoosh!
Because all he's thinking about is, I don't have any of this shit at home. I'm not having Drew prepare this. He's going to bed.
Yeah. That is also a part of. Wait, she can't even have a desk. How would she possibly have sorbet? She couldn't have she couldn't have a basement freezer.
It would be impolite to make her cook on our date.
Yeah.
She's probably already sent her servants home.
At least for Cornelius's sake, I think it's obvious that he's just dense.
Yes.
Yeah, never come up. The closest he knew about romance was, this lady has a good position. We might have a contract for your marriage.
Yeah, like he didn't. Like if this was supposed to be a date, he was supposed to have met up at her house with flowers, and just said straight up, "I am interested in pursuing you romantically."
Hang on. He would not have shown up. He would have sent a page with flowers and his message personally written.
Oh yes.
But then he realizes I would have had to send Droop. Unless he can...
Well, Droop doesn't know where. Droop wouldn't know where she lived.
Well, I guess the thing, when he thinks of his page, does he really want to think Droop, or is he thinking, maybe I could get Kagratz to do it instead? Maybe a little bit more impressive looking. I can't send the dwarf. He might kill them. I can't send Castalia. That would give a wrong impression.
And Brain would have read the letter and taken the flowers and eaten the chocolates.
That leaves the kobold.
No, it does not. It leaves Wolfgang.
Yeah.
I just imagine that Rain would have done what she usually does. She would have done her own summation of what Cornelius meant and said that. So yeah, he likes
Yeah.
you. He looks like he's trying really too hard here. Speaking of try hard, back to Malgern.
Wow, don't like that.
And Horizon West.
Poor Horizon.
Where are you taking the cat, man?
Just gonna. Malgard's taking him for fresh air, so we're just gonna start walking down the street.
And because it's nighttime and you're walking through the entertainment district, it is a sight to behold.
Yeah.
Because
not ideal, but
with more of a mercenary crowd in, there's a lot more drunken revelers. And also stalls and a few stages set up, with quite a lot of entertainments. At the back of your mind is a little bit of what Castelia probably doesn't know some of these moves.
I'm trying to think, is any of this more entertaining? Like, he doesn't think he's a hero, so maybe if I find him entertainment that's not hero related, he'll be less depressed. Yeah. There's a dancer with some feathers. I kind of just walk towards that. Maybe he'll.
Ah, sir, you're taken with Eliza, are you? Watch as she does the great dance of the Phoenix. And now we bring forth the heroes who calmed the Phoenix, as he brings out hand puppets. And waves them and jostles them below her at her feet.
He didn't even get the story right. It was a fucking fire chicken.
A lesser Phoenix, yes. There is a sausage salesman. He keeps waggling them in front of your face.
We'll buy a couple sausages.
Good man, good man. You've lost about you've lost about 2 silver.
Whatever.
This is when we raise the question, do you even have money on you, or are you just sort of fingering into Horizon West's pocket?
I have money.
Somewhere in the beard.
He tried to simulate the beard clips by just putting holes in copper coins.
Here it says the whole stash is 594 gold, but I don't carry that on me, so
yeah.
Just a couple of silver.
You've got some petty cash, yeah.
I have 11 silver.
Yeah. Horizon also chewing a little bit in the sausage. He left his wine somewhere, it was half full.
It's fine.
That's probably good, otherwise you'd be carrying him.
Did the sausage cheer him up?
Well, he's nibbling on it. He's a bit distracted by the juggler.
This is good. This is good. We will watch the juggler.
I spent 6 months learning to do that, you know. I did it to impress a lady. I was good. I could handle up to 6.
Don't make a joke. Don't make a joke. Don't make a joke.
As you see him chew on the sausage.
Look,
I could only do 4 of the batons, though. Too difficult. Balance is strange with him.
And Malgern, something strikes him deep down, and he has no idea where this is coming from, but he looks at Horizon, and he starts speaking. He can't even believe he's starting to talk like this. I did that once, too. I tried to do something for someone else, and not for me, and it made me miserable.
Hang on. Fucking when?
My father.
That whole failed paladin thing.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going back in time. We're learning some origins here.
Oh, no. Oh, this isn't... I mean, Rena knew what I thought this was pretty common knowledge.
I don't think Malgern's spoken about it.
No. Not to anyone.
Yeah.
But he's feeling kind of weird.
You had problems?
And then when he says it, he kind of goes back like, did I just...
You had problems with your father?
And he starts eating a sausage again.
Mine. He understood me. He liked me. We were friends. I don't think he was ever a real father to me, though. He was wonderful. He was loving, but it was... I was like a brother to him. I was his friends. My own brother. He was the son. He was the heir. He would take over. I was just better for fun. Always that is what I am. I am just here for fun. Make people happy, to laugh, to smile.
I mean, that's more than I ever did.
But I was never his pride.
What makes you say that?
I never heard him say it. I say this like he's dead. No, I have not heard him say it yet.
You know, sometimes people don't say things,
Hmm.
but it's there. Again, not knowing where this is coming from. Maybe he had too much to drink.
Only one person here had too much to drink, and it's embarrassingly small.
Yeah, he's trying not to think about that. He kind of wants to go back and find it, but at the same time, it's not really worth it.
There's some child walking past necking it.
Good for him.
Like a 7-year-old human.
Good for him. I had my first drink when I was 5, not realizing that he's a dwarf and that's a human.
So you were a late starter.
Yeah, in a lot of things.
They don't breastfeed dwarves, they just stick him on the tap. He gets everything he needs from that.
It's liquid bread, dude.
Yeah, it's good for you. I can't believe Guinness got away with that slogan for so many decades. They were able to... They had on their posters and shit, Guinness, it's good for you. They used to give it to people who donated blood. You got like half a pint of stout.
All I got was some hot chocolate or something and a movie ticket. I want again. Or they give you some orange juice. You donate enough, eventually they give you a mug, and you don't have to drink out of the plastic cup anymore.
Make him happy. I love my brother too. That's never been an issue. But my father never put responsibility on me. Never took what I did seriously. But then what did I do, as he turns on you now with the big cat eyes? What have I done that is serious? I prance, I duel, I laugh and I chortle and I show off. I am not a man like you. I am not a man good enough for my lady.
And Valgerd's kind of teared up a little bit.
And he really wants to say, you're far better than her because you're not an elf.
Yeah, again.
There are so many better women. Like that one. I have no idea who she is, but she's alive and on the street and doesn't have pointy ears. That one's better than Rain.
Sometimes people put too much on you.
I've never had the weight of responsibility. I've never got to feel it.
It's not that great.
Tell me, friend, what does it feel like? What's it feel like when you drop it, Malgern?
Yeah. This is
Oh
awkward.
dear.
You ever had someone yell at you for no reason? We'll just go with that. As he tries to keep him walking.
I think so. And now we bounce back to Rain and John.
Are we getting some whiplash here?
Well, you were just conversing more about knowledge should be studied, kept, stored, maybe even spread sometimes.
Correct.
Is there any topic you want to bring up to him?
I'm trying to remember if there was something in particular that I wanted to bring up, because that was a while ago. Yeah, because we mentioned dragon cult, tattoos.
He does profess he doesn't know a thing about the dragon cult. Never was an interest of study of his. I should broaden it out, I should, widen, obviously, and learn all I can, but for now I have a focus.
True, because you can't really focus on everything. There's not enough time in the world for that. Even if you lived forever.
Certainly an option.
A very difficult option.
Have you ever considered how you look like only bones?
Please, you can always skin the intruder and wear them as a suit for a few months. You can have one for all occasions, you just need to keep killing varied adventurers. Today I'm going to be a very tall, skinny dwarf.
No.
Make sure to soak that kobold skin and give it a good stretching. I want to look like an anemic dragonborn.
No, I think living forever sounds like a grand idea until you realize how it would work in practice.
Well, some methods are certainly not pleasant. There are others that are a little less damaging. Certainly ones that take less of a toll on others, so... And there's always something new to discover. True, personal connections, that's an issue, but for the academically minded, there is always something ahead of them.
Just every time I've heard about individuals lasting for an abnormally long amount of time, they always seem to go quite mad, even if they are academically minded. I'm wondering if there's some sort of a
Well, you'd know there's quite a few in your
limitation
family
built
tree, I'd imagine. As he taps at the ear.
Yes, that's more what I mean is even yes, my folks they last for a while, yes. And generally they are fine for their natural life, but even if you have an elf that goes on far past their years through magical means, things eventually start taking their toll. And I'm wondering if it's just one of those things where it's the signal that we need to pass.
Well, it's not something, sadly, that'll probably come up. But yes, in the case of the Dragon Cult, I wouldn't even know where to begin with that there. I'm sure whatever you found is not a good starting place for reference points. You have to know
No,
context before
unfortunately
things can
not.
really be put in their place.
Correct, and we seem to be lacking quite a bit of context, but then again, that is quite standard in our situation.
Indeed, yes.
We're the ones that tend to go out and find the information and then hope we can figure out something to do with it later. Or at least chronicle it so that it can be used farther down the line.
But as for that unusual orc interior... No, I think I may have come across something like that. Well, reference to it, not personal experience. It was a form of... Well, obviously it was a form of control and, of course, preservation beyond death and... What was words for it? He starts to speak a few languages that you don't actually know as he rolls for a few words of it. Yes, it basically broke down to puppetry. Along the same sort of scale, although I think when they first conjured this up, it was long before puppets or marionettes were a thing. Yes, let's see here now. He starts to rifle inside a bag, and you can see that is not a bag with a normal capacity in it. As several more books, notepads, and all start coming through. Yes, yes, it was one of the old kingdoms, far older than all this, of course. Yes. Saldo or Doma? I can't remember which one is on top of the other now. Used to be, it used to be a vast sort of, richly laked place. Desert all now, it's just all dust and sand. Yes, this was a method, quite an involved ritual, I think. As you see here, as he slides his book around, quite a few diagrams, including one that looks very much like the innards of that orc. Yes, I only have a few steps here, but as you can see, what I've got here, I've got the beginning moments, and then a few steps in between, and then what is potentially the end, although it may go on longer. But as you can see, this is something of a 3-day ritual from the looks of it. Like, at a guess. I couldn't say for supreme accuracy, but at a guess, this seems like a 3-day ritual of work, and all you get from it is a single servant. They're not more resistant, but they are utterly mentally dominated. But can still act. It's just that they have no method of resistance. And you can take full control at any time.
She kind of taps the diagram. That looks very close to what the end result was for what we saw. So,
yes, although again, the question of what is that doing in the hands of, well, I suppose in the body of an orc shaman, how did that get there? This is a long dead ritual, and I've only got a few pieces of it myself, and I certainly didn't venture there to get them. These are fragments from old libraries of wizened old codgers.
So this would imply that the shaman was a puppet from somebody else who was controlling him.
Precisely.
Which would imply that somebody who holds that magic is probably pulling the strings right now for the orcs in general, or at least working alongside.
Or just see them as a handy resource. Certainly one previous employer who you met at some point was thinking in that regard. Not for the usage of them living, but certainly as a resource to pluck up afterwards.
I've wondered why the Alchemians and the orcs seem to be so keen to work together on this matter.
Yeah, certainly the people eaters have been... I've seen nothing but derangement from them. Of the few moments I've come into contact with them.
Well, I mean, to be fair, one did try to bite me to death.
Yes, and when I was being chased for my life by the rest of you, I did spot one of their little dinner parties.
Not altogether pleasant.
Yes, I'm glad those days are behind us. They're behind us, yes?
Yes, they are.
I like to imagine what is going through the rest of the party's mind on this statement.
I'm just like, also, he finally straight up admitted it.
Yeah, he finally admitted it. That's the part that...
He admitted it to
Rain. He knows that he's admitted it.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, then again, to be fair, it was pretty clear we already knew that.
Yes, but it's very important not to incriminate yourself, even to those who know.
Yeah. But...
Yeah, he's just basically, well, she's cool. She'll probably be joining the necromancy cult soon.
We've just talked about how knowledge can be evil but still useful. I think I'm on board with this.
Oh no, guys, she's cool. She's cool. She's not a narc.
She's cool. She's got no morals. She's a wizard.
What was I going to say? I had a sentence. Oh yeah, you mentioned that. But no, that is behind. As far as I'm concerned, it is behind us. Although I will have to admit, I was not very pleased with the bone ball incident.
That was none of my doing. That was his own pet project, and ghastly it was. And there's only so
I would have to say,
much entertainment you can have conversing with a man who is obsessed with making his bone ball larger.
it was not entirely useful. Really?
It
It was just
was
highly unpleasant.
It was interesting, though. He had such plans for it. Originally, it was going to be much larger and then split apart on impact to become more independent.
Oh, no. Now, that would have been interesting.
Oh, God.
But as it was just very annoying, and I was not very pleased to be stuck in it.
Oh! I had no idea you got... Oh dear.
I did not much enjoy that part.
But he did have
Actually,
this
come to think of
wonderful
it, I think
idea of it being part of a siege weapon, you know, to be loaded in the catapult and launched over the walls, and then to split apart there and perfect an undead legion within the walls.
Now, if that actually had transpired, I could see how that would work. However, again, we ran into the issue of you would then have to have a catapult and you'd have to have an undead army.
Well, luckily, there is arcane talent that can get past that.
True.
And then there was also the idea of it being used as a conveyance, but he was never able to work out how to stabilize himself within it. He once tried to show me him being on top of it, and being, carried along by the rolling hands, but he just looked like a circus performer.
Oh, yeah. Well, I do have to admit, I didn't think very highly of him. He was not.
Oh, you didn't think
Very-
highly of the guy you fucking executed?
You fucking executed
yes.
him!
No, she did.
No, I did.
You're the one who gave the order. You just said, well, I'm done with you, Ben.
No, I was the one who did it.
Yeah.
I'm saying he gave the
Because
order.
he was starting to get... Well, that was just Paul in trying to threaten him. I wasn't about to actually kill him. Because when he started getting too personal with rage, he snapped it so his head got cut off.
Yes, he had small ambitions. He was minorly creative. That was the only redeeming quality to him.
Yeah. Very vain. Very
Well,
vain.
that's that tends to be a common
comes with the
theme with those
territory.
who pride their spellbooks.
True. I did have to ask, how did you teleport away?
Oh yes, I did a few. I made use of Mage Hand to put a few footprints up the wall just to confuse, and then just simply used a Dimension Door to pop away further to the south.
All right, that's kind of what we figured, considering we did explore upwards, and that did not. That was an interesting experience.
I ran for several days. It was exhausting. My feet were bleeding.
Well, I do apologize.
I think under the circumstances, we can both say we were both wrong.
I can't fully go that far.
Well,
But
I mean, in
I'm
regards to our
glad-
future interactions.
Yes, I will say that I am very glad that you did not go the way of the other fellow, even though that wasn't completely him, but that's besides the
Oh
point.
no, I was only to help him with a few small things. I had done my duty for him, and I was certainly not sticking around.
Fairly good idea, because he seems like the sort of individual who would have thrown you under the bus anyways.
I'm a scholar, not a monster.
Oh, speaking of, did you ever take a look at that mountain while you were over in that direction?
Unfortunately, you were there the moment I got close to it. So my observation time was rather limited. Is there something interesting about it?
Well, I must admit, I'm not used to seeing mountains with hands that try to yank you inside of the mountain.
Oh, an enchantment of earth golems, Zorns? Just
No,
Maximilian's
they were
grasp?
human hands. These were definitely people hands.
Mounted on it? Some art installation?
Inside, depending on where you were at, they were at different degrees of sticking out.
Some sort of imprisonment then. It would be a strange execution method, meld into stone, stone to flesh.
Out of character, if I recall correctly, wasn't the time that the mountain showed up the same time that the wizards all disappeared?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. In that case, yeah, she'll specify. Also of note, that mountain apparently wasn't always there.
Oh, yes, I was aware of that part of the tale, yes. But the
And it
hand...
aligns with it aligns with when the wizards disappeared. So I suspect the two might somehow be connected.
I imagine so, yes. Certainly it would take great magical power, so a combined force to raise a mountain. Despite what the antlerheads will tell you, they don't have the means to it themselves. Takes a little more weave backing than just what they get from running around with entrails and bones.
I'm trying to
Now Cornelius knows he has a brother here. Someone else who doesn't admire the dirt arts.
I do know that they're trying to work heavily with the demons. We keep running into different collections of demons, and it's highly unpleasant. Although it is kind of hysterical when they figure out somebody actually knows what they're talking about.
They're such uncontrollable forces. Well, they're base, primeval, and in a way they have their drives that are easily led, but they're not... You can't bargain with them like you can a devil. They're just destruction. And not worth much study, to be perfectly honest. I've never had much of an opinion as positive on demons. They're simply the removal.
No. I would say that it's the lessers not so much. Once you get further up the trail, it's like anything else. The value starts increasing the higher you go.
I wish they'd just stay in their own little hells. Or not the hells, the abyss, sorry. Must keep the terminology clear.
Oh yes, because I don't think a devil would appreciate you implying that the demons are from their area.
Precisely, they fight wars about it. But yes, that they know demon summoning rites is also rather curious. That would be something more akin to our mutual friend Cornelius being rather bored on a weekend than strange people daubed and with branches growing out of their skulls. It's not something you can simply accidentally stumble upon. It's specific rites for this sort of thing.
It's peculiar that they would pick to call upon the demons, and it's peculiar that the demons are willing to work with them.
Well, they just seem to be much the same kin. Destroyers
Even
without
so, they
much
don't
thought.
They don't necessarily get along with themselves either, so you'd think that they would destroy with equal opportunity.
There's also the issue with the Teneruks. I haven't worked on the pronunciation of those, but the amount of demon blood that seems to be spreading within the orcs is also a quandary.
It's quite clear that more is going on than an orc invasion, but nobody wants to talk about that. They just want to talk about green equals bad.
Oh, grey.
Gray, sorry.
Grey is every other setting, which makes finding art for orcs really fucking easy. Finding D&D orcs is really good, because they're the only ones that are grey.
But to be fair, goblins in the D&D settings are flesh colored.
Yep, but they're also very distinct facially as well. Makes it even easier. But hey, at least their hobgoblins are distinct, unlike Warhammer. In Warhammer, hobgoblins are literally slightly taller goblins.
Yeah. Slightly taller and lankier.
Mm-hmm.
They're gray. They have gray flesh because there's hobgoblins on my Chaos Dwarf team. They have.
It depends where they
look
come
gray,
from.
not green.
Well, it was a lovely evening, Lady Rain.
Yes, I do agree. And I'm very thankful that you took such detailed notes. I'm so disappointed I had to miss that.
Well, I'm loath to do it. Just this once. You see him unclasp the bindings and set the pages in front of you. For your own perusal.
Really?
Well, temporary. I'll hopefully get them back at some point.
Oh, yes. I'll make sure to copy them over. I greatly appreciate it.
You missed a stunning
On the
evening.
first date, damn.
The first solo, even though, yeah, it's not in her mind. It is not.
I don't think they'll be holding one quite soon enough, but I'll certainly inform you next chance I get.
I'd appreciate it. Hopefully, I won't have to miss again. But you never know. Apparently, we're going off every which way now.
Oh, you have something else slated? But you just simply be waiting for more rewards from the boar hens.
Well, we have to wait for that, but apparently there's, I don't know, the Kobold House is talking about something. Cornelius has something else he wants to do. I've heard about some other things going on in some of the other outlining areas. It's all a bit of a mess. I don't think that we're going to be lacking in work anytime soon.
Oh, what is it that's perturbing Master Scent?
I know we have to go up north. We're looking for something or other. I don't quite understand all of what's going on over there.
No, he's not been keeping you in the loop.
I wouldn't say it's not.
Krista starts talking, she stops listening.
I wouldn't say he's not keeping me in the loop. It's just, again, we're talking about his family stuff, and I start hearing stuff, and my eyes just glaze over because I don't need to hear about his family trouble. Because the second you get a nobleman talking about family, it's oh boy.
They become remarkably distracted. It can be quite useful.
Oh, true. That is a lovely feature. Usually I just end up zoning out slightly.
And the kobolds?
I'll help him out. The kobolds. Something about one of their mines. They just wanted assistance.
Oh, fair enough, I suppose.
After all, they like Zarzul.
Yeah, securing mineral rights will be a big decider in this war.
So we just have to go popping about and look at some things. I don't think anything's going to be severely problematic. It's just, it'll take time, because it takes a while to transport oneself around.
Nothing juicy or arcane and interesting?
Unfortunately, no. Although, what was that golem that we found? Out of no, the one that was in the forest when we were out. Oh, Cornelius wasn't there. Cornelius had a boo-boo, and Adagun had to take him.
Oh, okay, we're that far back. Okay.
Yeah, I was trying to remember what was that thing that we ran into.
The acid dragon? Of the
Well, it wasn't a golem.
No, it was in the forest.
Yeah, it was the mutant creature.
Monstrosity.
Yeah. It wasn't a fucking golem.
Yeah, I know. I'm more using it just as a stand-up
acid
term,
scale, I believe you guys called it.
Yeah. I would bring that up. That was an interesting thing to find in the middle of a forest.
Yes. Unusual. Seems to be it was destroying itself. So I believe we can rule out that it was a natural creature.
Oh, obviously. That's not something that just poof accidental.
Well, it's important to go down the steps to make sure. You never know, there's some strange things. Like how sturges, for some reason, are fucking natural creatures.
You know, that's a fair point. I will give you that. I don't know. I'm also kind of wondering how much of that is related to the toy maker.
The toy maker?
Oh, did we inform you of any of that when we went down? The hag that was pretending to be the useful old man had us go down into the sewer system.
Pretty sure you didn't tell him about what you found down there.
Yeah, no. Well, just that there's a fellow who used to work for the king. It was called the Toy Maker. Apparently, he made a whole bunch of stuff, sort of enchanted nonsense, that was quite useful, and then he yet again disappeared. Do you see a running theme with things? People do a lot of very useful things, and then suddenly they disappear, and all mention of their name is scrubbed.
A miracle the Fuggleclumps seem to have survived so long then.
That's kind of what I'm wondering. But apparently also they heard of the Toy Maker, and it's the same thing. They all know that you're not allowed to talk about him.
There's also that purveyor of pre-used magical artifacts. Quite an interesting store that there. If I had a stable address, I would have picked up quite a bit more.
Oh, is that the one with the preserved goblin in the jar?
It would have looked wonderful on a mantelpiece.
Yeah, we just have a tiny problem with that. I don't think Droop would appreciate it.
Oh, it's a bit rude to say, but I don't mean offense. Goblins do die all the time. I think they're quite immured to their own mortality.
I don't know. He's a very sensitive soul. You should have seen the time that he used Chaos Bolt and he accidentally exploded the bad guy.
Chaos Bolt?
Yes. It was a long story, but basically,
I mean, the long story is he lit that bitch up and he was traumatized for life.
Yeah. Pretty much, yeah. He was not... He tried to use it several times, and it never actually worked.
Once. It has worked once.
And then when he...
Yeah.
Yeah. And then when he used it, it worked, and he was, Yeah, it took a while for him to start casting offensive things again.
Let's see here. He would have actually hit something. That could have been his second time.
Why did you waste it?
I had to see. I had to test it out.
Oh, you ruined everything.
For the entire campaign, he's hit with it once.
Yeah.
That was back in like fucking session 40 something.
Oh yeah, that was a long time ago.
Really long time ago. That was
And she does point out that Droop is very good at accidentally making interesting things. Not necessarily useful, but they are relatively interesting. And entirely on accident.
I'll have you know that bark
Mine
vision is
bike
essential.
is rather useful.
Back at the end, Droop, he doesn't know why, but he starts crying and he doesn't know why.
No, Droop knows why. He doesn't know the right reason, but he knows a reason to cry. He has plenty of those. And now we'll jump back to the wizard and the tiefling. Your evening is also winding down.
Yeah. Well, I must admit that has been quite a while since I had such a lovely dinner. Not exactly a whole lot of those on the road, I must admit.
This place is one of my favorites, yes.
Well, I can certainly see why.
It's mainly for the music. Like I said, the food you can get in most places around here. It's all around the same price mark.
Is this considered like expensive eating for someone, or is it
This is expensive eating for the middle class.
okay? So I guess he is actually doing relatively well in the Colosseum then, or whatever it is he's earning her money.
Do you really want to
She's
ask?
paying for this?
She said she was.
Yep, she said she's covering his food, not his wine choice.
Yeah.
She knows he's a fancy man with wine. She's not paying for that.
Yeah. There are limits. She saw how leggy he was. It was yeah. He's not gonna be the most expensive of the food part. It's gonna be one plate and then maybe dessert.
He'll be a cheap date in most categories.
Yes, not when it comes to wine. But I'm afraid I must excuse myself. It is I fear that it's going to be a long day tomorrow, as things that have come up and we must plan. But I do thank you very much for this very lovely evening.
Just think,
And I shall
Mr. Cent. A whole line of apprentices, eager to learn. Children who would have to grow up thinking that the knights were better than them, that those who could swing a sword were more useful to society.
Well,
Hmm?
it's definitely worth thinking about. But at the moment, I do have other pressing matters, but I shall definitely take a look at it once I get the chance.
I also have to say, I'm glad you didn't look too hard at the chicken on the counter. I don't know why, but it was the
Chicken?
first thing that popped into my head.
Let's see.
That was
here.
so long ago, man. Let it go.
No. I know what he means. This
I
is
know, but
Cornelius.
she has to say it in character.
Yeah.
Oh, this was in character. Okay.
Yeah, it's in character.
What would Cornelius is for him to understand what she's referring to? Roll wisdom.
Sure.
It's more that I imagine he's not entirely sure what she's talking about looking at the chicken as he's is there something a chicken in here? And he wasn't even served chicken. He ordered seafood, so he's not sure why she's talking about chicken. Let's see.
Yeah, you remember.
Yeah.
When you were chasing through the Colosseum and you remember
Mm.
if there was a chicken out of place?
Ah. Well, I do regret putting down that platinum now.
Oh, you were willing to put down a platinum for me. That's sweet of you. And I just imagine he just a little awkward wave and walks out.
Yeah. Good night, patience.
Good night, Mr. Cent. And depending on the wine you paid for, you could have ended up spending about 30 gold. They had pricey stuff there.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Likewise with John and Rain. A simple parting. But then we jump to the awkwardness. Castalia. That little kobold ambassador. He doesn't have the constitution that Zarzul does. It's like his bones are gone. Yo, webgun?
I'm thinking whether I want to try and push for advantage on this, but I think it might be an idea just to sort of try and waddle them out the door. I don't know how far he'll get.
You could always just ask Congrats. or Castalia. Kobolds are very easy to remove from a premises. The problem is when you get a nest of them, you can never get that infestation out.
Yeah, it's like you get 3 of them chucked out, and then you go for the 4th one, and the 3 of them are back inside again.
I don't know how I got past. I mean, I said hello to Hugh Man in his trench coat. How did the kobolds get in? And where did Hugh go? I need that fucking model. It's also a character in Rime of a Frost Maiden. Theo, you there?
Mm-hmm.
You and Webgun
So
have an incredibly stoned kobold here.
Do we just sort of pour him out the door at this point?
I should also point out that Castalia has 2 stoned kobolds to deal with.
I don't know.
Zarzul.
You think you can crash here?
I mean, I'm sure there's place under the kitchen table.
Just put him in a secret room with no way of how to get out.
Yeah, we should probably get him back then.
There is
Yeah.
there is a quiet sound of a scuffing, though, above you.
Uh-oh.
Should we go see what that is?
Which room did it come from?
I don't know. I think they fixed the hole in the ceiling.
It's on the landing above you.
I head up the stairs.
You are
It
there
seems
just in
like-
time to see Pufflesworth looking down at the kobold, and he owl dives. He leaps off the edge.
How did he get out of the room?
He snuck out.
I look at the door.
It's furry.
How much did he claw through it?
Yeah, it's pretty fucking clawed.
Oh boy.
Now how
I
did
I'll
the
have to mend
graceful
it.
diver do?
He does 15 bludgeoning to himself. Wait a minute, actually. He'd have advantage. Yep, he still misses the kobold. You just see Zarzul, you see in slow motion due to your altered senses, this mound of brown fur and feathers just slide down in front of you and then crumple on the floor.
Oh god.
Well, I'm gonna head back downstairs and see if he broke his neck.
We can
I
only
can hope.
hope. There is this moment where Kagrat stands up, shifts himself, and just for a moment you see him like stoic face, and then it's like the service with a smile face comes on. Because I have to obey and go with the oath. Come here, you little shithead.
I look at the owl bear Pufflesworth. Is it moving?
Yes.
It's alive. We can leave it be. Just drag it and throw it in the room again.
The head turns to look at you. Then it rotates to look at the other kobold. And the beak
No.
starts to open.
No.
What are you saying this no with? Any authority?
I'm trying a bit of authority, then I blow smoke at Owlbear's face.
That'll be intimidation. The trip goes bad.
Oh no.
You feel paranoia creeping up your spine. This little fucker could get you at any time now. You know he was able to get out of his room. You have to sleep sometimes, Zarzul, and you know he could fucking get you.
It'll take him a while to get through 2 doors.
And then Congrats just fucking hoists him off the floor by 1 foot. Dangling him there. Now let's see here. How generous is he feeling? Yeah. As he's going up the steps, Pufflesworth bangs off the banister by accident.
Oh, God.
Not like a hard swing, it's just he didn't move him when he should have. So it was just a nice...
You all right?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'm more man. You know.
Yeah, Zarzul, as he's going up the stairs between the banisters, you feel like the eyes are flitting between them, looking at you. They aren't, but you fucking feel it.
Yeah.
It's clinging to your back like the legs of a spider.
Well, one day.
One day we shall dance again, and this time I shall be victorious.
One day, I will have my revenge. Maybe the dice
Probably.
actually like me one day.
Some of Rain's prized possessions are put in front of the hole to jam up the door. Congrats annoyed as he walks back down. I wanted to toss him in, but there's a hole in the floor and I didn't want to pot him.
Oh, yeah, I forgot she had the room, but there's a fucking hole in the floor.
Yeah, I have the hole in the floor.
Didn't need Malgurin finding that in his room.
You know, why do you just get out the door instead of just going down that hole?
Well, he's stupid.
Yeah, he's not that
Yeah,
bright.
That's true.
Also, there's a very large beast downstairs.
Oh, he'd fight her. Don't worry about that. Whoever he'd win is an interesting question. Little bro, I think it's time you hit the sack.
Yeah. I sort of just roll off the chair I'm on under the table.
Right in the living room.
As Congrats picks up the kobold and it's like a rag doll. There's a little quiet hee on some noises.
I breathe fire.
Should probably take this back to Kobold House, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we should the note on the money. Should probably write that on him. You know, since I don't think he'll remember.
No.
As he holds him higher like a
he
prize
won't.
catch. So yeah, do you write the value on him? Or do you trust this kobold's memory and integrity?
I write the value, and I write 350.
Well, when you put it like that.
No, it's a severe temptation. I'm like, I could get 500.
Yeah. He's not gonna fucking remember the bartering process. Zarzul isn't either.
But I have my morals.
You see that Congrats puts the label upside down on the kobold. I'll be taking him back there in a jiffy.
All right.
The night's a bit cold, so can I have something warm to return to?
Oh, absolutely.
I'll run back both ways then. See you in a bit, Tally.
See you soon.
Malgern, as you're walking around, now in the marketplace, you hear a cacophonous clanking coming towards you from the east. As you catch sight of the luminescent, glowing, radiant hero.
I'm thinking to myself, not now.
Who seemed to have caught
I don't
himself some prey and is off to the cave to devour.
I was like, I don't even know where the fuck those words came from. I don't need this now. I may have had a revelation, but I need some time to sort this out.
Luckily, because he is such a bright, shining beacon, he can't actually see you in the shitty darkness. And he runs past.
But does he see so he doesn't see the bright and colorful cat?
No, they're just walking about in the dark and away from the lanterns. It's pretty dark now.
Oh, like you do.
Yep. Cornelius, you also cross paths with Congrats. As he runs along with a dangling kobold in hand.
Once I see the kobold, I think I realize what's going on. I was like, oh, good. He's not coming for me. So I do breathe a sigh of relief once I notice he's carrying a kobold.
Although his light does flash up enough to show that Rain is nearby.
I feel slightly less happy. I was having a good time. My disappointment is immeasurable and my day is ruined. Like, I was only slightly disappointed, but now it's on. How's Horizon?
Kind of, like, he can't quite sleep against you because you're too damn short. Like, he's only 5'3", but you're pretty short.
I mean... Oh, wait, yeah, I'm 4'4", so yeah, he's almost a foot taller than me.
Almost, yeah.
I use this as an opportunity. You know what, buddy? Why don't we get you home? You know.
That'd be nice.
Wait, am I actually nearby?
Yeah.
Oh shit! I get him home. I've been banned from the arena.
He doesn't live at the arena. You don't know that.
Yeah, he doesn't live there. You just don't know where he lives.
I just don't know where. Okay, so he doesn't live at the arena, like, because Patience lives at the arena, right?
No one's ever asked.
Nobody knows.
Okay.
Cornelius hasn't found out. He almost did.
Yeah.
So I make a motion. Why don't we get you home, buddy? You're looking tired, and I could, you know.
Is Rain actually there, or was that a joke?
No, you're there. You're not nearby, but since you've got dark vision, you can pick
Okay.
them out easily.
Yeah, because you see, I would be immediately concerned that Malgern and Horizon are over there at the same time.
You just managed to catch Horizon West, raising his head a little bit with about half a sausage still hanging out of it. I'd like to go home.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would go over there because I'm worried about what Malgern is doing to him.
Oh, so it's like that, is it?
Yeah, she can't trust
Yes.
you. To be fair, you did attack her.
Yeah, but I didn't do anything to Horizon.
But I'm saying, in relation to things you've done with Rain, very few have been positive.
I was gonna say, is this Star Wars? You poisoned them against me. Is that what you?
To be entirely fair, she's not. She's thinking that problem is probably gone. She's thinking the ship has sailed because she doesn't know any of what you've been talking about. So she's just worried you've been bad talking her. She kind of goes over. She goes, what's going on?
Could you just imagine how wide her eyes would light up if Malgern said, "I've only told him the truth. I've told him exactly the kind of person you are."
Yeah, she just wanted, what's going on?
He's very sad and
My
a little
lady.
tired.
Hello.
Yeah, you should take him.
The sausage falls out of his mouth. Just splats on the ground.
No. Can I try to catch the sausage?
You can. You grab it.
Okay. I catch the sausage and try to give it back to him.
Just smushing it against his face.
No. An open paw. I'm not that inconsiderate. It's like, there you go, buddy. There's your sausage. But she'll get you home. Here.
You get this uncomfortable moment when a human-sized barbed tongue licks your finger.
Between that and the giant cat's paw, Malgern is just... Oof, today's been a day. I didn't realize they were just cats.
Horizon, are you okay?
Allow me to answer that. No.
He said, yes, what? Yes. I am depressed. I am not good enough for you.
What?
I cannot be anywhere near as good as this man right here, as he shakes Malgern's shoulder. Except he's going full at it, and Malgern is not moving.
As I have been known to do. Yeah.
There's just a little clink, and that's about it.
Horizon, that's a load of nonsense. Here, let's get you back to your place.
I am
Let's
a
go.
joke. I am just a clown with a sword at times. I am nonsense.
No,
I am so sorry to have darkened your days like this.
Horizon, edit. No.
Down, boy. Bad cat.
So you use water mist, the cantrip.
I was gonna say, is there a spell for this? Yeah.
Here. Let's go. Let's get you back to your place so we can discuss this.
He is
preferably
incredibly
when you're
easy
more
to take the weight
sober.
of.
Yeah, I was like, Malgern is like, yes, please take him.
Please take him as you start to pick fur out of all the links in your armor. It gets caught in all the straps. Somehow it's clinging to your hat.
Yeah, Rain is just absolutely confused. She has no idea what's going on, and she's just like, yeah, let's get him to his apartment.
His arms are over you.
Oops. That's not what I wanted to do. Some of these hairs aren't even mine.
All you told me is just so much, and I am just nothing. I am a fool who plays at being a dandy of a stylish duelist, and I am just nothing in comparison to you or to Malgern, my friend. He bought me wine. You didn't.
I can see that part.
Yeah, I don't know what he did with it, but it was mostly full.
Yeah, no, that's not a surprise. Okay, come on, Horizon. I disagree with everything you've just said, but let's go. We'll discuss it later.
You need a
probably while you're
far
sober.
better man than I. I am just nothing.
Horizon, no. That is the exact opposite of the truth. Don't be a liar. Let's go.
I would never lie to you.
Well, you are right now because you just said a bunch of stuff that wasn't true.
Did I? Don't remember.
Yes.
This conversation is getting a little too real. This is Rita
Let's
and me
go.
in the car. And you know what I'm talking about.
I have a lot of experience with this. So yeah, I am just kind of shoving him like, no, let's go. Let's go.
I have friends who say this is when they assert themselves in their manhood, but I am very drunk. I can't do that tonight.
That's okay.
Malgern really confused at how he's drunk still. It just doesn't add up. I saw that wine glass. It was full.
I imagine this
What
is
did
the
he
part
drink?
where this is the part where Cornelius is coming around the corner.
Yep.
Oh, look, wine.
You're coming around to see Rain carrying the long cat of Horizon West, because he is not coordinated, he's stretching. He's a floppy mess.
Yes, excellent.
Oh dear.
He's
Oh,
Vinny.
so I see some change of plans happen tonight.
Also, as you just started up your conversation, there was a bright beacon coming from behind you, and Gretz just passes you both in a run.
Bye, congrats.
See ya.
And Mulgren kind of
Okay,
just double take.
I'm
What
guessing
got
it
into
wasn't
him?
Okay, Scotch first.
Yeah,
Yes.
just Kalina's going, so I'm guessing that wasn't an emergency then. Good.
Now, Raider.
Apparently.
I'm just looking at congrats run fast, like, what got into him? That's just the kobold. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, you have no concept. Well,
I
Malgern
am so
doesn't.
confused right now. Everything's happening so fast.
Yeah. All you know is you hear Barry Manilow being played from the home.
Somehow, yeah.
There's a bard outside crooning, "Let's get it on."
And that's my
Why
cue.
does he
And then
keep
if you
sitting
walk-
outside every night?
And then as you walk in, lying across the table in the main room, there's Pufflesworth with spoon dish.
And underneath it is Zarzul snoring.
Like, no, today has apparently been a night.
Today has been a night. Yes. Words.
Today has been a night.
I mean,
There's the title of this episode.
Yes.
Yet the thing is, everybody understood what I said there.
Sure, you
make it a
can...
less awkward sentence.
Today has been a continuation of time.
Yes. That's accurate.
So, I would ask how your meeting with Patience went, but I need to get him home.
Mr. Cent, how can I be a man as powerful as you? As worthy of this lady's
Oh, no.
affection?
Well,
Horizon.
I'm taking a sigh of relief. Oh, good. It's not just me then.
in about 8 years of a stipendate in a wizard's college, and you should probably be around the same level. Of course, if you get through the entrance exam.
Cornelius? Cornelius, look at me.
Yes.
I am going to strangle you.
I will have to keep note of this. I will apply myself as much as I can to my studies.
No,
Good man.
no, no.
I will have to take out several student
You should
loans. Do you
pay
think I can get there on scholarship? Will you give me a referral,
She
friend?
points Horizon, no. Cornelius, I am going to strangle you, and I know where you live.
Well, yes, we live in the same building.
She just looks at him like, how can you be so dense? And she just flat out just says, are you dumb?
No, but you are.
He is
making
one
very
of the
weird
smartest and most powerful men I have ever met.
Thank you.
We're gonna have this conversation sober, Horizon. Let's go.
Must say, Zazu.
I like how Rain hates this, and everyone would just walk around saying, I like Horizon like this. He's so full of compliments. It's like he gets me.
Oh. And she just kind of does an offhand to Cornelius. At some point, I'll have to show you the notes that John took about the thing, but right now, I've got more important things to worry about.
All right. See you in the morning.
Probably.
Okay. Okay, what was that all about?
Fucky. Bane is just about ready to strangle about 6 different people.
Malgern
so
bears
good.
his soul for
God.
brief moments. Cornelius tells you exactly how to get up the academic ladder.
Still not sure where that came from. He's still kind of stumped, but it was there.
If he'd gotten a bit more time, he would have shown him the secret handshake from Masonic Lodge. That's how you get the A grades.
Oh no, Cornelius would never been invited.
He just pretends to be.
No, but he would never been invited because it's like, oh, he actually studies.
Malgern, you enter the house to see Zarzul underneath the table, with Wolfgang coiled around him protectively. You also hear 2 sets of banging. One set sounds large, the other sounds like a metal dish.
Are they coming from the same direction?
Yes, they're both coming from upstairs.
Yeah, it's the sound from the bedroom.
Oh.
One of them is.
Oh.
You know what, Malgern? I think we might want to take a nightcap for a few.
Then the banging and the clanking stops as Tigratz finally gets rid of his armor.
As Malgern's like way ahead. He is. He does the Abe Simpson thing, goes in, puts his head on the thing, hears what's going on, turns around, grabs his head off the thing, walks back out the door.
Yes, Grandpa Simpson.
Yeah, great.
He wore an onion on his belt, as was the fashion at the time.
Yes.
No, all the banging, clattering, you actually recognize it's a suit of plate armor being removed very quickly. As if there's a sense of urgency.
Yeah, why do you think I'm leaving?
Yeah.
But there's also another metal clanking from the room beside that one. Okay. Incessant. Constant.
And Zarzul's under the table with Wolfgang. Are they awake? Are they alert?
Depends.
Or are they trying to...
Maybe. Alert? Hell no.
What is going on?
You can barely see any white in Zarzul's massive bug eyes.
You know what? He probably doesn't even know.
Well, I can definitely say so far, Malcolm, that noise has been horrifyingly very familiar to me the last couple of weeks.
There is a scuffle and sound of something sort of heavy being moved, and then you both see it peering down at you. Hufflesworth with a dish in his mouth, banging it against the banister. He's looking you both dead in the eyes and banging the bowl against the banister.
I suppose no one fed the creature.
I would have fed him before I left.
Let's get him something.
But
yeah,
they don't know that.
Well,
yeah,
as if one meal is enough for him, you know?
Yeah.
The dish is empty. I would demand the dish not be empty.
You know how Vinny works with empty dishes.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that.
He's not going to schedule himself. The dish is empty. He wants food in it.
Yeah. I will go try to find something to put in the bowl.
All right, you grab Zarzul. It's the first thing that comes to mind.
I'm not feeding him Zarzul. That might make him sick, you know.
Yeah. Oh, I think there's something funny in that hippie.
You know what?
My hands are huge. They can touch everything but themselves. Oh. Yeah, it's easy enough to grab various bits of dried meat and whatnot, because you figure he's a fucking owl. He just eats shit.
Yeah, and I'm thinking Lauren is probably hungry too, so
yeah.
Get that.
You obviously give her the bigger share.
Yes.
She actually gets the fresh cuts.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Pufflesworth notices this. He notices that when you fill his bowl, you've got a bigger bowl in your hand.
Malgern wouldn't think of this, though. Yeah, so
he will remember this.
He charges.
Oh, God.
Oh, shit.
He hits you for free bludgeoning.
Oh, he does hit me. Shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
What are you going to do about it?
I'm going to instinctively...
He puffs at you.
Although instinctively.
Yeah.
You kick him in the face.
Instinct. I was like,
he takes it, and he charges, and he bites you back. He does so recklessly.
Shut up, right here.
Yes, he does.
Oh, God.
Fucking hell. Okay.
He's more dangerous than the people who try to club you.
Okay. I put the bowl on the floor and I kind of...
He catches your little toe in the boot.
Yeah. It's fine. I try to get the. There's your fucking dish. Piece of shit.
Oh, he goes for a big dish. Just puts his face right in it.
No, he can't have it.
I thought you said you set it down.
No, he
No,
set
I
down
set
the
down
little
his dish.
Yeah, he's
If he wants to go for the bigger dish, he's gonna have to fight me for it.
That's what he's doing.
Yeah.
Sadly, he
'Cause I
can't
put
beat
his
that.
dish down and yeah, I put his dish down and I scooted away. That's yours. There, you little shit. That fucking hurt.
He puffs at you, seeing
He did as much.
that you are showing pain to him. That means he's won,
Okay.
and he starts to shovel food into his.
And just to be a little shit, Malgurn looks at him, tries to look even bigger. Like, yeah, he's
Can
mad.
I point out that Pufflesworth did as
Try
much
it,
damage
bitch.
to Malgurn as Malgurn did to Rain?
Yeah.
Can you intimidate him?
Dang, he's rolling on fire.
Fucking hell!
You see something deep in that. There's just
I
a
had inspiration. Fuck! I used it on the other thing.
that cave
No.
lizard brain at the root of the dwarven mind just triggers something and says, "This is tiny, but it is still a bear."
Oh, this is terrible. This
You
is the worst
don't
time.
you don't quake or anything, but you just flinch and you know he fucking won.
I go to the room.
Pufflesworth is very pleased as he carries his bowl up, splashing food on his face, knowing he has bested another in the group.
Oh, this is bad. This is terrible. I don't like this. I want to stop playing. I want to get off. Fucking hell.
I think this just leaves Castalia.
That's a 2. Yeah, I rolled a fucking 2.
I'm just amazed you have the same fucking intimidation stat.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm wondering. What is intimidation?
Charisma.
Charisma.
Okay. Oh, that's why, because he's cute as hell. That piece of shit probably has a 20 charisma.
Nope, just a +2
Yeah.
and proficiency.
Yeah, he's proficiency.
Okay, proficient. That's where it's coming from. Yeah.
See?
Well, I mean, you have proficiency too. You have the same
Yeah,
modifier.
I had +1. But it felt like my roll was just bad. It had nothing to do with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
fucking
want
dumb.
you want to know what Cornelius' intimidation is? Mine is a +3.
Yep.
Cornelius is almost as terrifying as a dwarf and a baby owl bear.
Well, I mean, you can make your hands catch on fire at will, so that's pretty intimidating.
Also, because of that, Pufflesworth has now leveled up.
Oh lord.
No, fuck you.
He beat a level 8 dwarf warrior, yeah. Being only level 2? Yeah, he levels up from that.
I hate this game. You know what? I'm gonna play Blood Bowl all day tomorrow. It can't be as bad as this moment right now. I'm reinstalling Blood Bowl right now. I hope you're happy, Corvus. Twitch TV/Brader Norse 24-hour stream.
Shut the fuck
tomorrow.
up. Get out of my game. What are you doing promoting yourself? Give me your Amazon Prime sub, bitch.
I do. I'm a founder. I got a 1 next to my name.
Yeah. But yeah,
And you still haven't made emotes. Bastard.
I should at some point, just for the hell of it. But that'll be the end of the session.
No, fuck you for ending there.
Pufflesworth
Not gonna
wins
sit in
again.
Yolo, and we'll end this session. Yeah, I feel like this has happened before.
As the party will face a new day. They'll have to get themselves prepared.
And a new
see-
challenge.
I told you that we wouldn't get out of the city in one go.
New fucking shoe. God damn it.
He now
Now
gets his
pop-
subclasses.
And now Pufflesworth will become even more powerful than you could ever imagine.
Actually, yes. Could you imagine him with an echo? He can summon up another Pufflesworth.
Oh no, don't forget, he's not a fighter. He's a barbarian.
Oh, okay, then. It's not
explains a
much
little
better.
Big problem.
That means he has a
Yep.
bigger hit die than me. Fuck.
Yeah. He's at 40 HP right now.
Jesus.
Fuck. That's half mine. Fuck. He's level 2.
Level 3.
3.
Level 3. Still. I call bullshit.
But I mean, if you ever want to play him in a game of it, in a puzzle, like, I mean, he's gonna fucking lose at -5.
Oh, hey, and that also means that now he gets to choose a primal path.
I mean, intelligence is a dump stat. We've established this.
Well, there are a couple that are really bad and a couple that are just not as bad.
Yep.
Let's hope he doesn't get arcane lasers from the chest.
Oh god.
He becomes a beast barbarian. He grows bigger claws and becomes even hairier.
No, I was gonna say he transforms into a human. It's his human form or humanoid form. Yeah.
Yeah, he does change into a human, but, you know, like a 4-year-old human. And so Malgurn just pile drives him.
I would. After that, I would. I tried to feed you, you son of a bitch.
You tried to feed him less than you could have. Now, you know, as a cat owner, that is a mistake.
Yes, it is. You're right, buddy.
But that'll be the end of tonight's session, because we've got 20 minutes left, and I don't really want to start anything fresh.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it is past 11. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And hit the button that says stop streaming.